A little bit about me. My name is Fowmy Abdulmuttalib. I work here in Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, for McDonald's as ERP and business intelligence head. Professionally, I am a financial guy, so switched my profession from finance to business intelligence in the last 4 to 5 years, I would say. I really enjoy working with data and information. Also, I started my own consulting and training services called Excel Fort. You can visit the site excelfort.com, and I have a YouTube channel. During my leisure time, free time, I create YouTube videos and publish. And I also provide consulting and training on Power BI, Advanced Excel, and Power Platform. I am the leader of Power BI user group here in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. That's about me. And this session is focused mainly on Power BI DAX. DAX in the sense you can use it even in Power Pivot, but I'll be using Power BI to demonstrate. So this is targeted at audience who are not the beginners, sort of like they have started their journey into DAX, but finding difficulties in terms of DAX calculations, common mistakes and errors, right? So I just wanted to make sure you learn from the mistakes that I have gathered from various sources. Like during my free time, I go to Microsoft Power BI community forum and answer a lot of questions. There I see real world problems. These real world problems really help me gather this content together, present as common DAX mistakes from real world use cases. So what I noted there was like when learning DAX, it's very important you learn the basics first. So key concepts are very important in terms of learning DAX. In that, evaluation context is the key. So when you learn this evaluation context, that actually covers a lot. That gives you the real basement, the foundation for this. Then iterators, context transition, and expanded tables. These concepts should be concrete when you start writing DAX formulas. It's an interesting language, but when you come from Excel or SQL, you need to change your mindset because it's completely a different sort of language. DAX is a functional query language, I would say. So your approach, your thinking should be different in terms of understanding how it works, as it totally depends on evaluation and context. Okay, and you need to practice a lot. DAX is not something you can learn and start writing. You need to put on a lot of practice to understand, make mistakes, and learn from your mistakes. Basically, whenever you create a DAX calculation, you may not get your expected results, but you need to go and find out why it generated that kind of results. You may learn from it, right? And then you cannot apply the trial and error approach to this language. It may work in certain contexts, but if you try something, it doesn't work, you try a different function, yes, you get the answer. But the problem is when you go to a different context, you apply a filter, the calculation may change, will give you a wrong result, right? So in that case, it doesn't work like that. You need to really understand the concept and apply it. So that's about it for that learning tips. Then in this demonstration, we are going to go through the concepts through applying it onto some of the common mistakes people make that I have picked up, right? From there, we will learn how to find out and correct those mistakes in DAX formulas. So I have put together total 10 practical examples. We'll go through them during this presentation. Yes, so let's start with our demonstration immediately. Let me put my file on the screen. Yeah, I've got 10 examples here. So let's go through one by one and learn something new. And these 10 examples represent different scenarios. So let's go one at a time and try to solve what's wrong there. Okay, good. Now, the first problem is about zero and blank problem. Let me go to that. I have a small table here. Let me just show you the table in the data model. Yeah, it's a simple table. Simple table that has a date and some values. You see some values are okay. There are some zeros here and some blank values, you see, right? And there are some zeros as well. So some valid numbers more than zero, right? This is the table. So with this table, my task is to highlight the difference between zero and blank index. There's a question here. We'll see what it says. Show as not recorded for each date if the value is equal to blank, otherwise recorded. So what it says is if the value is equal to blank anywhere, I need to show as not recorded. Otherwise, I need to show as recorded. So I've created a measure here, value recorded. Let's go to the measure. And I can zoom this by pressing Control and rolling up the mouse. My measure is like I'm summing the value from this particular table. This is the column, right? That value I'm checking if it's equal to blank, right? If it's equal to blank, I'm supposed to show as not recorded, otherwise recorded. So it doesn't seem to have any problem here, right? I'm checking if it's equal to blank. So in this case, I have two values, two rows with blank values. So I would like to see this line and this line as not recorded. How about this one? This is zero, not blank. Why is it shown as not recorded? So this is where the trick of DAX you need to understand. In DAX, blank and zero both are considered as blank in this case. So that's why it's showing not recorded even for zero values. So how to overcome this? To solve this problem, we need to we can apply two different approaches. So let me go back into the formula. One way is to apply strict evaluation. What is strict evaluation? You can check strictly equal to, you can make sure it's strictly equal to blank. For that, you can apply two equal signs. This means check if it's equal to blank, strictly equal to blank, right? Let's see the result now. Okay, now you get the expected results. I see not recorded and not recorded only for blanks. This is one approach. There is another way to solve this. I can get rid of this. There is a function called isBlank. This is similar to strict evaluation, but it's in a function format. Let me confirm. Now you get the same results, right? I have another example with the same data set. In this case, I want to count the number of rows where the table value is zero. Looking at this table, you see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 rows with zeros, right? Here, my condition is if the value is equal to 0. But as I told you before, 0 and blank, they both are considered the same. So in this case, I can apply strict evaluation using double equal sign. So now I get the correct results, which is 4. Okay, hope you all understand how to apply strict evaluation in DAX. With that, I can move on to the example number 2. Okay, from example number 2 to 10, I'm using a small data model. Let me just introduce my data model first so that you will better understand how the calculations work in my Power BI file. Let me switch to the model view. I've got 3 tables, a date table, a products table, and sales data table, right? They are connected by one-to-many relationship from product to sales data and dates to dates sales data. And let's have a look at the data. This is my calendar table. It's a simple calendar table. Nothing is complicated there. And this is my product where I have 6 products with categories of A and B, 2 categories basically. And sales data table, you have, it's on a daily basis. I have number of units sold and the cost price and the sales price, and also the salesperson who made this particular sale, right? There are about 700 records. We also have the dimension for included already in the fact table, which is the segment and the country. Fine. With this, let me go back to my problem number 2, sales band. What's my question? Create a sales band measure by salesperson. Right. So I have salesperson. I have summarized it using the sales total measure. Let me quickly show you what this measure generates. I have organized into a folder called measure, and this is my measure, sales, total sales. Total sales simply multiply sales price by units sold, units into price, uh, and then totaled across the sales data table using a simple DAX formula, sum x. Fine. Now I have this total sales. So the condition here is if the sale is less than 6 million, then it should be tagged as low, greater than or equal to 6 million medium, anything greater than or equal to 8 million, it should be high. So looking at this table, 8.9 million, it should be high as per this condition over here, right? High. But I get medium. So what's going on? Something wrong in my DAX calculation. So let's go and check what's going on there. Other values seem to be okay. Sales band is my measure. Expand this. Okay. I created a variable and assigned the value of total sales into the variable, right? And using switch conditional statement, I'm just checking if the total sale is less than or equal. As I mentioned in my condition, if the sale is less than 6 million, then low. It's greater than or equal 6 million, it's medium. And if it's greater than or equal to 8 million, it should be high. But this is greater than or equal to 8 million, I'm getting medium. What's the problem? So this is one of the common mistakes I encounter. So you need to understand the order here, how it's evaluated. Let's take this 8.9 million and run through this conditions. So is it less than 6 million? No. Is it greater than or equal to 6 million? Yes, it is. So that's why you are getting medium. At the same time, it's also greater than or equal to 8 million, right? There are two conditions that satisfy this. Now, what it does is it just inserts the first one that gets qualified. So that's why you get medium. The problem here is the order. You really have to pay attention to the order in which it's evaluated, right? In this case, we need to move this condition. You need to go from high to low, so that I can put high as the first condition, then the medium, then the low. So to move this up, I can either just copy, cut and paste it, or you can simply use a keyboard shortcut. What's this keyboard shortcut? It's very handy. You can press Alt and up arrow once, twice. So I put comma. Again, I click anywhere in the second row and place Alt and down arrow. I don't need this comma at the end. Let me check the results now. Yeah, I'm getting the results correctly, right? So again, if you want to know the keyboard shortcut, I can say here, Alt will move the line, down will move it down, right? So this is very handy. Okay, down. Let's move on to the next problem. Okay, here, what's the third problem? Add a calculated column in product table for total units. So here it wants us to create a column in the table, in the product table, and I am supposed to show the total number of units for each product. Let's, before we go there, let's have a look at how we can achieve it using a measure. Let me copy this table visual over here. Can make it small, right? I'll get rid of the field salesperson. Let's make it a table visual. Total sales I don't need. I just need here from the products table. I need the product category. I'm trying to simulate what I see in the table. And I need the measure I already have for the total units, right? It simply sums the total units sold from the table. Let me drag and drop it. I get what I wanted here, right? Okay, yes, 73 and all, right? Now, this way it works. I can drag and drop a measure, it works. Same thing if I want to achieve it in a table. Let me go to the product table there. And see here, I have this product table where the product and category is there, right? I just want to add another column here, right? I just want to add another column here that gives me the total units for each product, right? So you must be thinking now, we have a relationship here, right? We have the product table and the sales table. So I'm going to create a table over here, column over here, right? When I create, we can use the relationship and get the total, right? From a simple calculation. Let's go back and try that. Now I am here. So I am going to add a calculated column. Let me call it total units, right? So we know that there is a relationship between this particular table and where the data is, that is the sales data table. I can sum the value of sales data units sold, right? So what do you think is going to happen now? Is it going to give me different values or the same value for each row? You can be engaging, answer my questions if you like to. Anyhow, let me explain it, what's going on here. Let me confirm. It's giving me the same result for each and every line in this table. So what's going on here? Why it's not giving me the correct total number of units for each line? Okay, the problem is this. We are creating a calculated column. When you create a calculated column, you are creating a row context. It's working on a row context. As I told you in the beginning, one of the concepts you need to learn is the filter context and the row context. Row context iterate over each and every row here, right? And trying to calculate from a different table. But there is no filter context. But when we created the measure here, right? When I drag and drop, there is a filter context that is activated. So this product filters the sales table. That's where this 77,000 came for Amarilla product. And here there is no filter context. So we need to create a filter context so that it can calculate the correct amount. Just because the filter is there already, sorry, the relationship is already there, it's not going to filter when you are on a row context. You need to convert the row context into a equivalent filter context. The function that can do that job is calculate. This is a very powerful function in DAX. So DAX can convert this value, let's say this character, this particular product, and pass it to the sales table using the relationship and get you the correct amount. Now let me hit enter. Now you are getting the correct amount. This is because of the context transition. So this is one way of using a context transition to get the value from that table related. Now there is another way also. When you have a relationship, you can actually use the related table to get the value from the many side of the table, right? Now the product table is a dimension table, so it is one side of the relationship. The many side is the sales data table. So if you are on the one side, if you want to get the related results, you can use the sales data. It's asked for a table expression, and if I enter, it will give you an error message. Why? Because you cannot have a table value into a single cell, I would call here, right? And we can use an aggregator to aggregate what we want. I can use SumX. It asks for a table. I have a table. From this table, I want to iterate row by row and gather the units sold, for example. Right. Now this works, giving us the similar results. Okay. Hope you got how the context transition works in this case. Now let me switch back to my report. Okay, we are done with that. We created it. Let's move on to the problem number 4. We have an interesting problem here on ranking. So there are two issues here. I'm not getting the ranking I expected here. So it's ranking. What do we have here? I have the segment, then the salesperson. So rank salespersons by segment on sale and unit sold. So first sale, then the unit sold. So I just want to rank the salesperson by their total units sold here, right? Unfortunately, I'm not getting it. I'm getting one ranked as one for each and every row here. So what's going on? Let me go into the measure that I have created here, which is rank sales, right? Okay. Let's go through the DAX measure. Rank salesperson by units. So first I am checking if there is only one salesperson is visible, since I don't want to apply ranking when there is like a segment over here. Only one salesperson is visible. That's the time I just wanted to apply it. So I use is in scope. Fine. Then I use the rankx function. Rankx has its first argument as a table function to be passed, right? It wants all the salesperson that are expected to be ranked upon. Right? In this case, I need all these salesperson there. I have used all selected here, so it will give you all these salesperson you see in your visual, right? For each salesperson, what I wanted to do, I wanted to calculate the total units sold. Absolutely. So this is what we wanted. So I'm summing the sales units sold for each salesperson, then I'm ranking it. So the problem here is this value, this calculation here is done on a row context basis, right? Again, we have a table. This is a table, virtual table. All selected will give you all the values that are visible here within the visual. So there is no context transition here. To create that, as I told you before, you calculate will do that. So let's apply calculate. Now let's see the results. So now I'm getting the correct ranking for each and every salesperson here. So this is one approach. Or if you have a measure already for this total units sold, I can apply it. We have a total units measure. I can use that as well. So you must be wondering now, okay, where is the calculate wrapped around this measure? By default, every measure when you create is wrapped around a calculate. That's how it works in any filter context. Okay, so you can use a measure as well in this case. Now let's go and have a look at the problem number 2 in ranking. What's the second question? Rank salesperson by sales amount. So this part is about units, and here I just wanted to rank it by sales amount. Let me go and check here what's going on. Why I am getting one everywhere is a question here. So like before, I'm checking if one salesperson is visible. Then I'm using a different function here. So you should have a proper understanding of the table functions in DAX. So what does values return here, right? I have used total sales as the measure. I don't have any problem with that. So values basically return what's visible in the filter context. It doesn't clear any filter, right? It doesn't make any changes, modification. It returns what's visible. So let's look at this particular salesperson I, right? This particular guy. At this place, I'm running the calculation here. I'm supposed to see all this salesperson because I need to rank this particular value 1.8 million across all these salesperson. Then only I can evaluate his position, where he stand in the first, second, or third place. So let's go and see what kind of results I am getting from this values function. Another tip I can share with you is, like, if you want to debug your DAX measure, you can use concatenate X function to see what's being calculated. Let me explain it to you so you can understand it better. I will comment this. If you want to comment, what you need to do is you need to put double forward for each, right? But it's very tedious. There is a shortcut key for that. You can mark all these lines and press Control and forward. Forward slash. So this will comment it. So instead of calculating rank, I'm going to see what values return from this table function. So I'm going to take this out from here. Use concatenate X. It asks for a table. Okay, I am passing a table, which is a value of salespersons, right? And what I need the sales person column. And delimiter is comma. For every value, I need to separate it by a comma. So it's going to show me all the salesperson. Okay, let me minimize this, expand this to the right. See, as I told you before, I am supposed to see all 10. I have 10 salesperson. All of them are supposed to be shown here, right? I see only what is visible in the filter context, right? So you should understand value is not able to return that. If I change this to all selected will clear the filter from the salesperson column and return what's there within the visual. Let me try this time. I have applied all selected. Now you see all 10 salesperson names are there, right? So this will allow me to do the ranking for each and every one of them and find out the position for this value. Let me go back now and fix my formula. So now that I know this is going to work, I can apply all selected instead of values. Now, how do I get rid of this comments? I can again press Control /. Let me select values and replace it with all selected. Now it should give me the correct ranking for salesperson based on their sales amount. Fine. I'm going into my fifth example. Okay, this is an interesting one and very common. Grand total is not correct. I'm not getting the expected grand total. Is a frequent question I get asked in the community and the places. So calculate 10% sales commission for each salesperson having sales over 7 million. So we are calculating sales commission for everybody here, for every sales person. The condition is they have to achieve above 7 million sales threshold to get. For example, I have sorted this total sales on descending order. So the first three are definitely above 7 million and these are not. So it's calculating 10%, right? Oh, okay, good. But look at the grand total. I'm not getting the total of these three values over here, right? I'm supposed to get the total of that. It's around 2.4 million. So what's going on here? So this is one of the important concept in DAX, right? The filter context. Each value in this matrix is calculated in its own cell, right? In its own filter context. The filter context over here is salesperson B, right? But when it comes to this value, the filter context is everybody, not only these three salespersons who are qualified for the commission, right? It includes the whole 10 salesperson from the column. So how do you do that? Let's go and have a look at the calculation first. Okay, it's a simple calculation. If total sale is greater than 7 million, total sales multiply by 10% commission. Fine. But at this level, at grand total level, I don't have any different calculation, right? So the approach is you need to go through one salesperson at a time and calculate the sales commission and add them together. So for that to iterate over salesperson, what I can do use SumX. SumX is an iterative function. You need to pass the first table value to iterate on this sales person. I'm going to go one at a time, one salesperson at a time, and calculate total sales and check if it's greater than 7 million, then calculate. Fine. Right. This way, it will calculate the correct amount. Now you are getting the 2.4 million that you wanted to see here. Okay, so it's very important to look at this problem as with the filter context in mind. Okay, great. Now, next set of problems, I have three problems calculating percentage of sales, different scenarios, but different problems can be solved using these three examples. Okay, what's the first one here? Show segment sales as a percentage of its respective category. As I told you before, we have two categories, category A and category B. Under each category, I have listed the segments, right? Let me see what field is there. Yeah, segment, category and segment. Then I have the total sales. So what I am supposed to see here is this particular sale, channel partners, represent 1% from 27.6 million, right? So this is my total for this category A. So this 400,000 represents 1%, and this represents 17 and 45 and so on. Fine. But check what happens if I apply, say, if I want to look at only channel partners and enterprise, right? Government, let's say, three values. So this is 17 million, but this is still calculating 1% and 17%. So this is wrong because it's calculating as a percentage of all the segments, not only what is being selected here, right? That's why you don't see 100%. This is supposed to be 100% here, not 64. So what's going on? Let's jump into the calculation and see what's there. Yeah. So I am using the divide function to divide the total sales, which is, for example, here 411,000, and I want to divide it by this 17.6 million. How do you calculate 17.6 million? I need to remove the filter on the segment, right? I am removing the filter using all. As you know, all is calculate modifier. In this case, it's removing the filter, so it's showing all the segments in the column, right? But what am I supposed to show here? I'm supposed to remove the filter from just three values, not the whole thing including this one, right? So how do you do that? The function to do this is all selected. All selected will restore the filter context to its original filter context. That means all selected. What is selected here? There are three values: channel partners, enterprise, and government. So it will clear the filter only from these three. That's the time it will get the expected result. Now it's 100, right? If I don't have anything, it's calculating perfectly. If you have just, let's say, two values here, it's calculating. That's because of the all selected that I applied here. Okay, so you should understand the difference between all and all selected. It's a very useful function. Okay, let's move on to the second one. It's sort of similar. So calculate segment gross sales or total sales contribution as a percentage to its respective category. We are in the same situation. The same calculation is expected to be done, but in this case, I am getting 100% everywhere, right? So this is not what I wanted. Even if I select a few values from here, from the segment, I'm not getting the expected results. So this is a common mistake. People say, okay, I'm not getting the expected value. So what we can do is I can check. Okay, I'm using variable this time. Okay, so this is a variable total sales. Total sales is assigned, which is, let's say, 411,000. I need to divide this. Here I am using a divide function. So total sales should be divided by the total of all the channels here, right? Basically 27.6 million. How do I calculate that 27.6 million? Using calculate, I modify the context. So I already have the total sales assigned to this variable. I use it here. Why should I repeat the total sales, right? That's my idea. And as I told you before in the previous example, I'm clearing using all selected. This is fine. The problem is in total sales variable used within calculate. Remember one thing, when you use variable, at the time it is being calculated, it is calculated, the filter context is there, it's working, the values assigned to that. But when you use it anywhere else, it's a constant actually. Variable is a constant. So any value, this value is as good as 411,108. It's like hard coded, right? So it cannot be changed using modifiers. So you should do is use the measure. Measure can be modified. So let's go and turn it on. Yeah, now it's working correctly, even with any filters onto that. Okay, great. Next, we'll move on to the next example. I'm still calculating the percentage of sales, but this time what I have is instead of segment and category, I have year and month. So the question is calculate monthly sales contribution as a percentage of its respective year. So if you take September 2029, I want to see what percentage of sales September represents when it comes to year 2019, same as October and November, right? I'm getting 100% everywhere, so it's not working. So what's going on here? Let me go into the measure that I have created. So I have used a variable as before, but when I calculate the value for the total amount for the year, I am removing filter with all selected because I have used month name here. I'm using month name here to remove the filter. Fine. I haven't used variable. I have used a measure. Everything is perfect. What's going on here? Okay. The problem lies in dates table. Okay. Actually, what happens is when you remove filter from month name, we have used another column to sort the month. You see, this is automatically sorted in correct order, September, October, November, December, right? How does it work? That's because, let me go back to the dates table. And if you click on the month column and see how this has been sorted, right? There is a sort by column here. See the month number is over here. So I have used month number to sort this column. So when you clear the filter, you need to make sure you clear the filter from the month number as well, not only the month name. Month number, right? Okay. Oh, I press escape. Let me do it again. Month number. Let me confirm the measure. Okay, now you see the correct amount being calculated, right? So you need to make sure whenever you remove filters, if there are columns used for sorting, you need to clear that as well. Yes, that's my number 8. Let's go on to the second last. Okay. Have I got time to continue the rest of the 2 examples? Let me know if I'm exceeding my time. I can just make it short. Okay, fine. So what's this problem over here? I need to calculate the percentage of, let's see the question. Calculate product sales percent of related product category, keeping only product. So I have the product category and then I have the product, then the total sales. So I want to calculate, so each product, what percentage of sales it represents to its category, right? Let me look at the DAX measure I have used here. Okay. So total sales, yes, I want the total sales. Look at the final result here. I am dividing the total sales by total category sales, right? How do I calculate the category sales? So calculate total sales, then I remove the filter from the category. Sorry, I am using all except. What all except does here is it removes the filter from the products table, from all the columns, and whatever columns you specify in the following arguments, it will keep those columns as filters. So in this case, it's using only the category column as filter here, right? And removes all other columns from the product table. We have in the product table products, right? That already I have inserted here. So this is correct. This is inserting it. But the problem comes if I look at this number, this Amarilla represents 34.36. But if I go and remove the category, the percentage changes. It doesn't calculate as a percentage of Amarilla product category, right? So if I bring it back again and I expand this, sorry, it's the order is different. Yeah, now it's fine. It's category A, right? So it should be a percentage of category A. 9.5 million should be divided by 27.6, not by 63.9. So how can I remove the product category and keep the formula and the 34.36 to be there all the time, even if the category is removed? I'll show you how to do that. Why this is important is, for example, if you are visualizing on a chart like this, it's showing 34.36, but you also have to put the category and the product together. It sort of looks ugly, right? So if I remove it, it gives me the wrong result. So how to fix this? Let me go back. Let me get rid of this line over here. Now what I want to do is I want to pass the filter of category, right? How do I access the category? Since we are at this level, Amarilla, the product table is filtered. So it's cross filtering the product as well, right? I can get the product category from the filter context using values category, product category. Now I have got the product category. Okay, so, and I can remove the filter from the product table. So no filters applied on the products except category. Now I'm getting the results. Let's have a look at this. This is where the magic comes. Now, if I remove product category, you still see the same percentage they are correctly calculated, right? Now the chart also looks nice with only the product. Now I'm moving on to the last one. Okay. So what's this example? Calculate percentage of sales for units below 500. I have the products and the total sales. I want to calculate the total sales for each line where the unit is less than 500, below 500. Let me go and look at the measure first. Sales below 500. So how is it calculated? I have used calculate total sales. I'm filtering the sales data table where the total units sold is less than 500. Simply, I'm in sales data table. So I'm filtering this particular table where unit is less than 500, right? Less than 500 filter. This works fine. 811,000, 1 million, and 787.
Sorry to interrupt you a little bit. We need to wrap this up because the next speaker is, yeah.
Okay, sorry, fine. So let me finish it. Give me a minute. I can wrap it up in a minute or two. Okay. So what we should do is when we calculate the percentage, we are going to go to the next formula where the percentage is calculated. I have used the total sales up and dividing it by, this is the sales 500, sales below 500 measure I showed you before. I divided by the total sales below 500 for all the products, right? I have used a table filter here, right? So in this case, when you use a table filter, the expanded table comes into play. So it's not applying the filter, it's removing the filter that gets applied from remove filters, right? Let me change this to a simple filter as 500. Let's check what happens. Yes, now you are getting the expected results. Okay. I hope that was clear. And with this, I have come to an end. And thank you for your participation. And any questions, please post it in the chat. I'll be still there in the chat to answer if you have anything. And don't forget to visit my website where you can find, and the YouTube channel where you will find a lot of information and the resources, right? You can connect with me using LinkedIn, definitely. That's it from me, and have a nice day. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks for your time, Fowmy.
You're welcome.
So let's give the next speaker a few minutes to get ready, and